Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sitrep Podcast. Today's content's a little bit different. We are coming to you from Das Krieg House. This is a gaming club down here in South Florida. Actually, the name of the club is South Florida Miniature Gaming, and I think the physical location is called Das Krieg House. Speaking of physical location, check a look at this storage space. Guys, this is all gaming stuff. Terrain, tables, armies, you name it. I'm particularly interested in this little shelf over here. I own at least 4 of those games. Midway, Gettysburg, Afrika Korps, Rise and Decline of the Third Reich. No Panzerleader, Panzer Blitz, or Arab-Israeli wars, though. Little disappointed in that. We may have to work on that in the near future. I'm just kidding. They've got a great little space here. I'm told that they have like up to 700 members on their roll. I'm not sure how many of them are active or local, but they do have games here every Saturday. I've been here a couple Saturdays now. They always have at least a good solid handful of people running games. So it's a great environment. I've received a very warm welcome from some of the people here. Yeah, and so far it's been a great place to hang out. So what we have here is a small table of the Bellis Antiquitatis. Here we're looking at Alexander versus Byzantines. This is not a historical setup, obviously. This is an open tournament sort of a setting. And then here we have our friend John Sowerby from the community. Over there on the left, and on the right we have JJ, and they're also having a simultaneous game of DBA. I wish I could have caught the audio from the actual event, guys, but there was an air conditioning going in the background. There was like a garbage truck outside. The audio was just basically unusable. But the video came out great, and I wanted to make sure that we captured that and shared it with you guys here in the community. So like I said, we've got John versus JJ here. John has got basically West Franks. So like Charlemagne's army. Heavy knights, a lot of big heavy knights. He does have a little bit of standard cavalry there on his left, and one little unit of light infantry holding his right. And then JJ is playing the 100 years English, so predictably a lot of archers, although he also has a lot of mounted knights as well. So yeah, these games are in progress. This is part of an open tournament here that is being run by Jim Dundorf. This is a qualifier for some regionals that I think are taking place in April. But yeah, we'll check in as these games progress. Okay, so I'm not terribly familiar with DBA. I've only observed a couple games here at South Florida Miniatures Gaming and Das Krieg House. I'll explain to you what was explained to me. It's a very, very small, I don't want to say simple, but it's a light game designed to be played on a pub table. So it's usually like a 2x2 table. These miniatures that we're looking at here are 15 millimeter. And the rule book, James Dundorf was showing me the rule book. It's only like 6 pages of actual rules. After that, it's a lot of army lists because it covers a huge swath of history, clearly. It's pretty much anything ancients or medievals. So in this particular game, John was the more aggressive player. He moved forward with his whole line of heavy knights, collided with JJ in the center there. So far, JJ's doing pretty well in the center. To be honest, he's losing on the flanks, so we'll see what happens. So, like I said, John was losing in the center, but doing well on the flanks. I don't know if he was trying to set up his own little miniature Kane here. Not totally sure how well it's done. So what wound up happening here, if I can remember the notes here, is, yeah, John was pushing forward in the center. There actually was a break there in the center, and now he's doing a little bit better. The problem was his center sort of got enveloped on both sides, and he may wind up... Okay, no, he is doing well. He just put back some of JJ's units. He's sort of colliding with his own archers there. However, you see those knights coming in from the top part of the table there. The unit that just forced JJ's units back was in turn flanked, although he seems to have defeated that flanking attack. Notice those knights on the top there just moved back across that road in the center of the table. So that unit of John's is more or less surrounded at this point. They're a victim of their own success, it almost seems, but we'll see how it goes. So like I said, the game is pretty simple from what I could observe. You roll orders dice, it's a d6, and you get that many orders. I think there's some modifiers in there. And what happens then is you can only move that many units. Clearly you have a lot more units here. So the game rewards some degree of linear tactics. If units are in flank-to-flank, base-to-base contact, you can move a whole line with a single order. So it behooves your general to keep your army in a cohesive, linear tactics sort of a setup at first. The problem is, as those lines collide and you resolve combat between individual stands of figures, what winds up happening is you win some and you lose some. Units get pushed back if you lose the die roll. If the enemy doubles you on the die roll, it's a d6 plus various modifiers. Then the unit's eliminated. Either way, that nice neat line that you had at the beginning of the table starts to come apart really, really fast. And as that line comes apart, you lose that ability to move your entire line with a single order. So the battle starts off nice, neat, and orderly, and we've all seen the movies. Pretty soon these ancient and medieval battles turn into these god-awful melees. And now it becomes a problem, to be sure, to control your army. So it's managing chaos. Both generals, both kings are going to, I say gradually, really it's quickly, sooner rather than later, lose control of their armies. And it seems to me like the winner is going to be the general that manages chaos the best, which sounds a lot like medieval and ancient warfare to me. Again, no radios, no satellite comms, no GPS. It's going to be down to who can manage the absolute madness that is mass melee combat the best. So as these units get fragmented and broken apart, again, you have to spend an order dice to move individual units now. You can't move whole lines, because both sides' lines, whether they're winning or losing, have started to disintegrate. So, okay, it looks like the game is going to be decided right here where they're pointing at. We're looking pretty much... Okay, yeah, so we've got John's mounted knights there on the left. And he is trying to push... Okay, he did successfully push back those archers against JJ's king there on the far right. The problem is he got flanked and he's now being pinned in place from the rear by some of JJ's mounted knights as well. So John's little blitzkrieg force is now pinned against archers in the front and pinned from behind by some mounted cavalry. So it's not looking so hot. He's being literally struck both sides here. However, if he wins, he'll probably take JJ's king and maybe even that camp we see there at lower right. So the odds are against him, but he might be able to pull something out here. Let's see, they're checking some charts. Again, the whole game is like maybe 6 pages, and there's a cheat sheet, like a reference sheet that's like 2 sides of 8.5 by 11. So it's not that big a deal. Oh my lord. Okay, so John just rolled a 1. JJ just rolled a modified 7. Pretty sure, yeah, that's the end of the game. You see where his unit there has been eliminated. Meanwhile, what they're going to do now is just wrap up some other stuff that's going on during the same turn. And sometimes that's useful, because again, this is an open tournament. You get points for not only winning the game, but for the number of killed units, whether or not you took any generals, and whether or not you took any camps. So even if you've lost the game, sometimes it behooves you to finish up everything that's on the table. And again, maybe if you knock out a unit, you might actually get a draw. But JJ walks away with a win on this one. That ends the tournament. You see everyone filling out these forms. Again, James Dundorf is running this tournament. This is a qualifying event for some regionals that are taking place in April. I'm not sure what those regionals are for. They might be going up to another con, maybe as far as Historicon. I'm not entirely sure on those details. But thanks very much for coming out, everybody. We'll be in touch very soon.